Morning. This is Manish Joshi. Today I'll be presenting uh, my Excel analysis for assessment 4 based on a dataset provided that has been extracted from assessment 3. So my name is Manish Joshi and let's start the presentation. So first of all, let's open the Excel file. So this is the dashboard. That's the ultimate result of the analysis. So let's go on to the data first. So the first step there were almost 5 datasets provided in the assessment 3 that has been utilized in the assessment 4 as well in this assessment. So the 5 dataset that has been provided was first loaded into the Excel through the Power Query function, that is going to the data and get data from Power Query. So once I reached there, I just provided the location of the file, which was a txt or CSV file. Then after this dataset was loaded, but before loading, there are first few steps that should be done before analysis of any dataset. That is data cleaning, data manipulation, and you have to understand the data. So first thing is you have to understand the data. There were 5 data set, like if I have to tell them, it's orders, customers, payment, order items, and product. So understanding this database, first of all, what is order are the set of data from the order, generated from the order. Secondly, there were the customer data set that provided the information of the customer ID, customer age, and location. Similarly, payment tab provided the information about the payment status and payment mode that customer used in purchase of the items. Similarly, the order items is the breakdown detail of all the orders that were handed to the business. Lastly, the product are the product data set provided the information about the product ID, the product name, and which category or brand it belonged to, and per unit price of that product. So based on this database, we were to analyze the data and provide insight for the business. So first of all, understanding the data set is key. Now we understood. Now we have to know about the relationship between the data. So as I can see, orders is an independent aspect. Similarly, customer is an independent aspect, that every customer is unique to the business, so the customer ID must be unique. Similarly, for the orders, every order is unique to the business, that should be unique. However, it can be different from the other items, because in other items there can be same order ID, but the same order ID will carry different kind of products. So the relation of orders and order items can be one to many. And same for the payment, a same order can be paid to 2 different mechanisms, like credit card, debit card, or partially from bank transfer. So it can be different in this case. For let's go for now, after understanding the data and the relationship between the data, let's move on to the data cleaning process. So cleaning the data requires a sequence of steps, like loading data, then after checking for errors, promoting headers, or if possible promoting removing the duplicates and errors, managing missing data, and lastly merging data and checking it final is the final step. So how I did it, let's dive into it. So first of all, after loading the data, or you can say before loading the data, what we can do is we can transform. So this is how it looks like once we go to the transform. I'll just show you a while. Let's load the data first. So it's a CSV file. Once I hit the browse, I will need to access the data where I kept. So it's in 761 business intelligence, business analytics and intelligence. So it is based on assessment 3 data. So once we moved, these are the data set. Let's jump into the customer. Let's get data. This is how it looks like when you are loading it the first time. So as you can see, these are the data that is presented in the customer data set. So detection type based on 200 rows, maybe I could check into the entire data set, so that would be more accurate. Then after I can transform the data. So as you can see, it's showing the customer 2 as I have already loaded the customer. So this is what it shows. So this is just for showing purpose. Now let's move on how we can transform this into this. So I don't need this actually. Let's just edit the previous one. Let's just discard this and go to the previous one. See, this is the customer. So what I did was, the data had some issue. That is, the header was in the first row, same with the product and other. This was good, but for this, when the data was in the first row, the first thing I did was promoted the first row to the header. This is what it shows in the applied step. So the first row was promoted to the header. That's why the customer age and customer location are the headers now, and these all have this consistent data that has been checked. And what I did was, the customer ID should be a unique ID. That is a primary key that might be used in future to reference for other purpose as well. That's why in order to make a primary key, it is a must that this data should be a unique. That's why I checked all the data and I removed the duplicates. How we can do it? We can just double click and remove the duplicate, and we can remove the errors and all like that, but it has already been done, as you can see in this. Same for the product. You can see the list of steps applied in this, and for others, the others is also same for payment. In the payment section, what I did was, actually I removed the duplicate, but since order ID can be same, what I did was I merged this cell into I merged this cell and check remove the duplicate from that merged cell. Like if I have to select all these three, just for your case, this order can be duplicated, this order ID can be duplicated in this some rows, and same the payment status can be duplicated, because every different orders can have same payment status, and for the payment method as well, every different orders can have same payment status. So how do we remove the duplicate from this? So the main problem is, if the three columns has the same data, then that is a duplicate data. We can identify like the same order and payment status and payment method. If these three had the same letters, then there must be some mistake at easy to duplicate data. Like let's do the combine and merge queries, add column and add the column of the merge column. Let's separator use as comma, and if we hit enter, see the merge column arrive. So the thing is, it shouldn't be same in this column, as we have utilized all these three columns. This is how we use and we remove the duplicate for this. So this will solve the problem. As I have already done this, I done this step as well. This is just for showcasing. Now the last part comes after all cleaning of data. Now consolidating the data into one single table is a challenge, but how we can do it? The Power Query just makes it easier. Like I have already created a consolidated data. How do I consolidate the data? I just copied a data set and I just start to merge them. How do I merge them? First of all, I just use the order items, because this is where lots of the table interconnect with each other. So the first order consolidated data table consists of order items. If you can see, there is order ID, product, quantity, preference. So in this table itself, two data can be interlinked, that is order and product, using the product ID and order ID, which were the primary keys for this order and product. Let's go to the consolidated data. So these are the first step. Then after, how do I consolidate the new, how do I add or merge the new data? You can see lots of merge going on here. So I took the primary key as a reference for merging the data. This is merged through product. Like if you can see, the product ID is similar. How do I merge it? Home, combine, merge queries, and if you can see, there is a product, and this product is a primary key. If you can see, there is a key icon. One, two. See, using a left or right join, we can merge these two tables now, because the product ID in this and product ID in this matches the data. That's how we do it. Second, after merging the product, I went to merge the order ID that was also a primary key for others. Like this way, similarly, I added the customer, then after the payment data and or payment data. So this way, after merging all, I close and load the data into a new table. This is what it seems like. Consolidated the data. I still checked. See, now I checked for duplication. There is no duplication. I use the conditional formatting for that. You can see is it checking duplicate. New formatting rules. If unique or duplicate, there is no duplicates. So the primary key shouldn't be duplicated. I checked it once again for other ID, customer ID. This is also not duplicated. As you can see, there is no highlight. For the payments, it can be duplicated. That's why there is a duplication. But if we check this, there is no duplication in the merge cell. Like let's say here is a merge content, and I merge all the, that is order ID, payment status, and payment method. So I merge this, and if I want to check the duplication, that is, let's go to the conditional formatting, highlight cell rule, duplicate values. Like okay, I want to make duplicate value red, highlight in red. If I go, there is no duplication because we have already filtered it out through the Power Query function. So I don't need this. We remove the column. This way we checked others. Now, after loading the consolidated data, we can still see all the data tables that should be required for the analysis has been consolidated in this. Now what more we can do? As you can see, there is order ID, product ID, quantity, price per unit, discount, and total sales. If we checked the total sales, it is not what product price into quantity looks like. It is actually the product price per unit into quantity minus discount received. So that's the total sales. So for analysis, I thought we would need a sales before discount. So this is where the merging table ends. This is what I create afterwards. That is sales before discount. So sales before discount, how does it fare with? This is also done in Power Query. How we can do it? Like data, launch Power Query editor, and if you go to consolidated data and check on the sales before discount, we can see the sale value. How does it came? This is added the custom column. Custom column, and custom column we just multiply the price per unit into quantity, like price per unit into quantity. Like this way we get this column, and that has been loaded into the data. This was just for showcasing the audience. Now next step, the discount. So I want to know that how much discount has been calculated or given to the customer. So the basics for the discount is the sales amount. So that is what we use. So in this, I have done the discount based on category, and this is the formula. Same, I have fragmented the customer section by age, like there were multiple age, but I have chunked down into 4 different types of age group, that is young age, mid age, and senior, and lastly old age. So the key conditional use for the separation of this is that those customer who are age less than 30 would be considered young. Then after from 31 to 45 they would be considered as mid age, and those customers below 60 but above 45 are considered as senior, and lastly customers that are above 60 are considered as old age. This is how this data set has been filtering the customer by their age group. This we'll be using in the analysis later. So another part, how do we analyze things and how do we visualize these things, because this data is in table and it is a mass table, so one cannot interpret or get insight from this table easily. So the best job for analyst is to visually present the data that is so insightful and so effective to communicate that everyone or the stakeholder can understand the meaning of the analysis in quick 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 time. Like this is what, so in order to do that we need a summarized version of this table. So the summarized version of table, to get it is very easier in Excel, that is use of pivot table that I have already discussed in my report as well. The pivot table, this is the pivot table that uses the data from this consolidated data and summarize the data. Like the same consolidated data, if we want to know the total sales, it will be very hard. So we use the pivot data and consider this is the first pivot table that consists of total sales only. So the total sales is somewhere around 710k, sorry 7,108k. Similarly, the next table summarizes the data about monthly sales. Another pivot table suggests analysis, or it presents data about sales according to the category, and so on. Next step, this summarized pivot table is still not easy to communicate with other, because there are lots of table going on and stakeholders might take some time to understand the table as well. So what we do is we present it graphically or visually so that it is more effective and communicative to other stakeholders. Now let's move on to the dashboard. This is where the pictures of analysis come into play, because now everything is dynamic and everyone can access the data quickly. Let's suppose I am an investor. Now I want to know about the sales report. Now this database provides all the report of the sales from the data extracted from the consolidated table. So first of all, what we have is there is a timeline in the dashboard. So that allows me to filter all the information based on time. Let's say I would just want the sale of August. So see how dynamic the data is, so that everything changes up to match with the August only. So the sales of August is 725. Similarly, the sales by category figure changes. Like if you go and check for all month, just every data is dynamic and linked with the timeline, so that it creates a filter for this. Like for the total sales, if we add everything, then the total sales is 7 million, and for the August it's only 7,250. Similarly, August and September, if we join them, then that's almost 3 million sales, and the trend is increasing. Now let's move on to all the maximum data set that we have from the report. And this is what it looks like. Second thing, there is this slicer used in this dashboard as well, that is slicer from payment status and order status. This creates additional level of filter so that one can know which sales it's paid. As you can see, the data changes. That is 1 to 2 million are paid. Unpaid, that's, so we can create a multiple filter like paid but that has been delivered and that has been cancelled, like paid but that has been returned. That can also be. And if you want to add, we can just type in the command, and let's say this paid and unpaid. We can check in two box, that is multiple column, and we want to know the shipped, not the return. This is how we do it. So it creates a dynamic level of filter and makes a manager easier for making quick decision based on this. So let's just clear all the filters because I will need all the data. So if we see the trend of sales, it's August, September, October and November. The sales peaked on October and started declining on November. So as you can see, the sales trend going up and slightly down after August or after October. Similarly, the sales by category, the highest selling product was a book that contributed 18% of the sales, and the least contributing was the sports that contributed 15% of the total sales. Now sales per brand, I have kept it in descending order so it will be easier. The highest selling product by brand is Adidas and Under Armour, looking at this figure. So it gives a quick glance, and the lowest sales was Sony. So it makes easier than looking at the table and verifying the highest or lowest sales generator. Next is payment method by preference of age. There is not vast difference in the preference because this all age category use the all payment mode equally. It there is no much noticeable differences. Secondly, this is the monthly sales by category. So as you can see, so as you can see this is a tree map that shows the sales based on a month and category. So you can see the highest one in October, which contributed books as the highest one, and second sales was September, where clothing was the highest, and third biggest sale was in November because the November blue box is like slightly bigger than August. This way it's easier to understand which month has the highest sale. Like the October box is too big compared to other, so this is where the October generated most sales revenue. Also in that, the book generated the most sales revenue. Now customer age by group. Now as we know, we separated the customer age into three categories: mid age, old age, young age, senior. This. So as you can see, if we segment the customer by their age group, the old age is the one who spend lots of time in our product, purchasing our product. So we can focus on the rest of the customer age group for promotion. Like old age preferred our product most, and as you can see, the mid age population preferred our product the least, and senior, so does the senior and young respectively. So we can, what insight it gives us is that we should promote our product to senior age group, young age group and mid age group, so that we can boost our sales. Secondly, the discount provided. This is the data generated from the discount and sales. Discount and sales. So you can see based on the category what kind of discount has been provided. Like for toys, it averages on 4.97 and sports 5% discount. The most discount will be offered for kitchenwares, that is 5.22, and the least discount offered for product by category was electronics, that is 4.9% only. Order status of sale, if we see order status of sale, the out of all orders, the total cancelled uh, sales was 1,792,000, and the delivered till now, till November, the delivered sale was 1,787,000, and lastly the return was 1,760,000. So this is the data by order status. Lastly, knowing the customer location is also good. So in this data, it presented the sales based on the customer. There were almost 17 locations where customer has ordered the product from the business. So we can clearly see that Brisbane is the one that is ordering the product uh, more than any of other location. So this is how the dashboard presented an insight to the manager, and where he can focus or create a marketing campaign. Like based on this, it's we can know the seasonality, like a way to boost product. Like in November we have to boost product, in August we have to boost product as the sales is quite low. Secondly, sales by category, we check the week one, we check the top selling category, so that we can boost the product accordingly. Lastly, focusing on the consumer. Then after, the one missed out data set or the visualization was this one, categories wise sales in monthly order. This is the trend for each category used by Sparkline. Booking books were but all the trends are seen similar, like the monthly sale, that is it starts to increase from August, September and October, then slightly decline on November. So there is no unusual pattern seen in this. And similarly, the heat map has been used, where the highest selling has been marked as red. So books is sold mostly on October, same as the clothes is sold mostly on September. If I have to talk about the list sales, that is in yellow, that is book is sold less on August, while clothing is sold less on respectively. So all the data is presented here in the dashboard. Now let's move on to the analysis part. How do we analyze the data? We have two types of analysis, that is regression analysis and correlation analysis. So moving on to the regression analysis, we use two variables, one independent and another dependent variable. So in this case, in this consolidated data, the independent variable was sales before discount and the dependent variable was discount. So we are trying to understand how much does a customer can get a discount if we know the sales amount, total sales amount for the order. So here regression statistics is used. This is done through data and data analysis tool. The regression using the array from the wide range, that is a set of dependent variable, that is discount, and X range, that is a set of independent variable, that is sales amount. So this has been used. And once if we go to regression statistics, there is multiple R square. This R square signifies that 50% of data can be described from this regression analysis. It is not much, but it also suggests that there are more variables into it that describes the discount received for any customers. So we can see 97 or 9,709 observation has been utilized for this regression, which is a quite good number. Similarly, standard error only is 28.18. That is the mean difference from the difference from the median line. So these are the ANOVA factor test, and these are the intercepts, that is 0.68, and sales before discount, this is the coefficient of 0.05. So from these two intercept and coefficient, we can conclude the regression equation to be y equals to 0.06854 plus 0.05 into sales before discount. So this is the regression equation. So let's say if we want to if we have a sales amount of 1000, so what would be our discount? So using this regression equation, we can conclude that we have this as intercept plus sales amount into 0.05 or 5%. So the approximate discount value that we received would be $50 in this case. Lastly, there is a correlation analysis done. So for the correlation analysis, we used a formula. So correlation analysis, we use a formula, that is correlation of discount and a correlation of sales before discount. So it suggests there is a analysis of, there is a correlation coefficient of 0.72. This has already been presented in dashboard as well. So if we move further down, there's an analytics section where it shows both analysis in a graphical format. The correlation between sales and discount, that is 7.2. This ranges from 0 to 1. So it suggests there is a strong positive correlation between the sales and discount received. Similarly, the regression analysis that has already been discussed, and the regression equation is also provided in this. Thank you. That will be all. You can check this dashboard. You can tweak with it and get different insights or better insights as well. This is just a demonstration for my work. Thank you. That would be all.